Hey everybody, in this tutorial we're going to talk about adding unlimited facial features to your 360-degree head. So we're going to talk about stuff like mirror, mesh triangulate, masking, and pairing. And on the screen right now you can see this girl character with typical facial components, the mouth, the eyebrows, eyes, and all that stuff as they pop off her face there. So this is your standard facial setup with different facial components. However, we also have custom characters like this boar here with different facial components that comprise his nose. Alright, so his nose is made up of 3 different parts and 3 different layers, and we'll talk about that in a little bit here. Okay, well, first of all, let's take our character that we have on the screen here, our bird character, and go into composer mode, which is where we're going to do all our editing. Alright, once you're in composer mode, let's take a look over here at the layer manager. So the layer manager consists of a number of different facial components or facial features, whatever you want to call them. The nose, the eye, and all that stuff. You can move them around, you can rotate them just like this. You can stretch them out or expand them or scale them, whatever you want, and make all kinds of weird Picasso drawings. All right, but what we're going to do is we're just going to undo that for now and get everything back to normal there. Just wanted to show you all those different features there. So these are standard features that come with a standard cartoon animator for face. Okay, you have brows, you'll have a mouth and nose. You can see in this particular character, it doesn't have ears or a nose. The nose actually is the mouth, which is the beak here in this case. And you'll also see that when we select any of these, doesn't matter which one, we only have the ability to add images to it or launch it in an external image editor like Photoshop or GIMP or whatever. We don't have the option to duplicate it or the option to delete it. We'll talk about the ones that you can delete and duplicate in just a moment. Okay, we also can go over here to the scene manager, and you can see our face is attached to our neck there, and all the different components here are under the face item. That's the hierarchy there. If you want to change the hierarchy, if you want to attach the face to something else, face bone to something else, you can just select that and go up here and attach it to whatever else you want. Also keep in mind that each one of these facial components has a sprite library contained within it. Okay, so if I select this mouth, for example, and I go over here to my sprite editor, you'll see that we have a sprite library with different facial sprites for our character's mouth. All right, and we also have ones for different angles as well, like the left-facing angle here. You can see we have the character's beak, which we replaced in a previous tutorial, and the right side, same thing as well. Okay, and also things like the eyes as well. The eyes have separate sprites, so like smile closed, eyes closed, iris change, and all that fun stuff. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look now at adding facial components. All right, the fun stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to add everything to our face. Okay, our face component right here. If we move the face around, you can see everything else is attached to the face. I'm just going to undo that move there. And I'm going to get rid of our bones. We don't need to see our bones on our character right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over here into the layer editor, layer manager rather, and select face, and go press the plus key. This will allow us to add an image to the face. All right. And we're going to just add a belly. Okay. It may seem weird to add a belly to your face, but this bird character has a weird anatomy. Okay. So this belly sprite will appear, and we're just going to scale it down a little bit. Maybe something like this, and bring it up right there. Maybe a little bit smaller. Okay, and you'll probably notice here that the belly sprite is expanding beyond the border of our character's face. Now, in order to fix that, what we want to do is we want to go over here to our layer manager and just click on this mask button here. Okay. So mask will allow us to mask any part of the sprite that is going beyond our character's facial border there. And this is very useful. So once we've done that, we have our character all set up for the front facing angle point. Let's go over here to our 360 head creator. And in the 360 head creator, what we're going to do here is we're going to set up all the different angle points as well. So I'm going to go ahead and select the left angle point, and notice that it doesn't really move. In fact, if we preview, the belly is going to remain in the middle, attached to the middle bone there, okay? It's not going to follow along because we haven't really defined a place for it to move. Okay, so we need to do that. Let's go ahead and select the right angle point or the left angle point here and move our belly over there. Looks good to me. And lower left angle point, let's move it down to about here. Okay, upper left angle point, we'll move it up here. All right, fairly simple stuff. And upper angle point, we'll just kind of move it up here like this. And lower, we'll move it down there. All right, so if I preview now, if I move my character to the left here, you can see the belly is moving along with everything else, and that's the way we want it. However, on the right side, It's still having that issue where it's not, moving properly. So the first thing we want to do is we want to mirror it. Okay, pretty simple to do mirroring. What we want to do is we want to select like a left point here and go up here to the mirror tool. You can also use the M hotkey. Okay, and what I want to do here, we can mirror selected in this case. It doesn't really matter. We can mirror all this stuff. It doesn't really matter as well. What we want to do is we want to make sure we mirror the transform. That's the most important part. Okay, and if we deformed it, we'd mirror deform too as well. Okay, everything else doesn't matter. We haven't changed any layers or anything like that. So let's just go ahead and select apply. Okay, and it'll apply it to this angle right here. So then we have this and this. And if we preview, there we go. We'll move across like that. Fine and dandy. However, we need to do the same thing for this point here, obviously. Okay, so go down here to the bottom left and apply that mirror as well. And upper left and apply that mirror as well. Okay, and I think we're good. So then if we preview, we have the full 360-degree rotation, and the belly is following along regardless of the position that we're in. Okay, and that's exactly what we want. Okay, so let's go ahead and press the space key to stop our preview and go to our middle point here. And the next thing we're going to do is talk a little bit about masking, okay, because masking is important, particularly when you have a thing like a tail, which we're going to add to this bird next. Okay, so let's go over here to face and add another one. Now notice as well here, if I select belly, now we have the option to duplicate and the option to delete, which we don't have with the standard facial components, okay, like the face or the right ear or anything like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and select the face, and we'll add one more image, and this time we're going to add a tail. Nice. Okay, so we got a tail here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to resize this tail. It's a little bit large. Just resize it to maybe something a bit more manageable, and that looks fine to me. And we'll go into our 360 head creator. All right, in the 360 head creator, what we need to do is first we need to adjust the layers, okay? So we need to make sure that our components are on the correct layer. So right now the tail is above the belly and the face at the center point here, okay? We don't want that to happen. We want to take our tail and click and drag it below the face component, okay? And then it'll be hidden basically. And we need to do the same thing for all the other angle points as well. So going over here to the left, again, we need to also reposition it to something like this. Okay, and you'll also want to make sure that you click and drag the tail component below the face, just like that. So it's kind of looking like this. And same thing with the lower left. Okay, this one's going to need to be a little bit higher, like that. And we'll just make sure that we mask that one as well, or kind of take the tail layer rather below, just like this. Okay, and finally this one right here, this upper left angle profile. We'll do the same similar thing, and just take that layer and move it below all the other ones, okay? And up the upper point right there, do the same thing, just move the layer down, and the lower one we need to make sure it's not going over the face right there, and bring it like this. Okay, so now if we preview on the left side, we'll have the tail pop out like this at different points. Now again, if you want to be more specific or more detailed about where you're putting all this stuff, you can also use our onion layer tool here as well. So if I press if I have my upper left point selected and I select onion layer, I can select the left point here. We can see where that should be in relation to the upper left, and finally the bottom left. You can see I think we did an okay job just by kind of spitballing it. All right, but let's go ahead and get an onion mask mode there. And we're going to go ahead and mirror these, okay? So what I'm going to do is select the left angle point, and we're going to go to mirror, all right? Now what we want to do here is with selected, we want to make sure that we have layer selected, okay? We had it selected already before, but this time we want to make sure we have it selected because it's important that we also mirror the layer position, okay? So right now the layer is below all the other ones. We need to make sure that we make sure that that's always below the face layer. So with the layer selected, make sure you go ahead and select apply. And boom, you'll see it below the character's face on this side as well. Same thing for the upper left. Go ahead and select apply. And finally for the bottom left, make sure you go ahead and select apply. And we can probably reposition that tuft of hair there a little bit as well. And we're good to go. So now if we preview, we have the layer correct on all the angle points. And we get nice smooth results like this. Okay, so very useful tool for defining position of tails and stuff. Okay, let's stop that preview. And what we're going to do now is we're going to talk a little bit about mesh triangulation. So I'm going to select my middle section here. We're also going to go to face, and I'm going to add in one more image. Okay, attached to our face. And this time we're going to add in this pattern B. Okay, this nice big chest pattern of chest hair. Okay, and you can see it only shows up as one little thing right here. So what we need to do is I'm going to select my face. I'm going to go over here to the bone editor. Okay, and with bone editor selected, I want to make sure I select the pattern and show wireframe. And the area that I want to show is not the masked area. I want to show the full image. Okay, so it'll show the full image like this once you do that. And let's go ahead and close it down, and then we can reposition this to where we'd like. I think that's fine. We'll maybe resize it slightly there as well. All right, good. And then, of course, the next item of business is to go into the 360 head creator and set all the different angle points. So to the left, we're just going to move it over here. And again, make sure that you have masking, okay, for all of these angles. Lower left here, you can see it'll automatically kind of distort it a little bit, so it's kind of in that position. I'll just kind of rotate it into the position we want, something like this. And upper point, we'll just kind of move it up here and maybe even stretch it out a little bit. And lower point, we'll move it so it's not even barely visible, maybe something like this. Okay, and then if we preview, there we go, moving along with our character at various angle points. However, we need to mirror those. So again, same procedure. Just make sure that you have the angle point selected. Go to mirror and make sure obviously your pattern is selected. And just mirror target, mirror everything, and go ahead and apply. Okay, and same thing for this angle profile, or angle point rather, and this angle point. And then we're going to have the entire thing all taken care of, just like this. Nice. Okay, so what we're going to talk about next is we're going to talk about pairing. So pairing is an interesting concept, and this is because basically the only facial features that are paired by default on your character are the eyes and the eyebrows. So let's take a look at an example of this. If I go to my left angle point here, and I go ahead and maybe say, well, for example, I want to resize my eye, okay? I want my left eye to be larger on this side and my right eye to be larger on this side. Well, if I make that larger, like something like this, let's make it significantly larger so we can see the difference. And then I go to preview, you'll see it'll get large on this side, but stay the same on this side. Okay. However, if we mirror it, if we select mirror, what's going to happen? It doesn't really matter what we have selected. If we mirror selected and apply, it's going to resize the right eye on the other side, okay? And this is because it's paired. These are paired. So on the left side, this one will be resized. On the right side, this one will be resized, okay? Even though they're different sprites, we have paired them up so they'll have that connection. All right, we'll just stop that preview, and we'll just go ahead and undo a couple of steps here. We need to make sure we undo this one and this one, and they should be back to normal. There we go. Fine and dandy. All right, let's test that out on a pattern for our characters like feathers, for example. To do that, I'm going to go to 360 head creator and select our face and throw in a pattern. We're going to throw in pattern L. Okay, just like this. And it'll pop in the middle there. We'll position it right over here. And what I want to do again is select the face, and let's go to the bone editor and just select the pattern L. And this time we're going to just, again, show the full image. And it's going to just show us the full image there rather as opposed to the masked image. And then we can go from there. And one more thing, just add in the left pattern or the right pattern here as well. So select the face. So we're going to select pattern R and position that correctly right over here. And face, again, bone editor, show wireframe. And of course, we want to make sure we have the pattern R selected here and show the full image area. Good. Okay. So let's close this down and let's just kind of reposition these wherever we'd like. I think that looks okay for now. And go into our 360 head creator. Now, in the 360 head creator, what's going to happen is we're going to pair these two. Okay? If I don't have them paired, then only one will change position at each time. So let's say, for example, I go to the left here, okay? And I'm going to move my pair into position. I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to move my other pattern over here. And that'll be approximately, where they should be. And of course, we want to mask each one just like this. So when they go over the edge, they're not in the wrong position. Okay, so once we have this, what I want to do is I want to make sure that we go to mirror, and in mirror down here there's a section called pairing settings. Okay, so in pairing settings I'm going to select my left pair, pattern L, okay, and pattern R. Okay, those are the two side patterns. And we're just going to go ahead and close this down. Now, what we want to do here is we want to make sure that we apply. Okay, so again, we're mirrored and we're going to go ahead and apply. And you can see that when we apply, basically we're having the wrong result. Okay, this one's mirroring properly, but this one's not mirroring properly. So let's go ahead and undo this and go back to the original. Okay, so what we want to do now is mirror, and we want to just choose all. Okay, we're going to choose all, but we don't want to choose sprite. Okay, if we choose all and not sprite, we'll go ahead and apply that, and that'll be the correct positioning. Okay, so make sure that you have not sprite. You don't have sprite selected when you're mirroring these pairs. Okay, otherwise it'll just mirror each sprite individually. Okay, so again, top left, we'll do the same thing, just like this. Put them both into position. Okay, right there, and make sure sprite is not selected, and apply. Okay, and same thing for the lower left. Place this one down here, and this one over here, and then apply, and finally up and down. Again, those don't need to be mirrored, so those aren't really relevant to this teaching process. We're just going to place them manually, and there we go. Select it, and there we go. All right, so everything should be fine. Let's go ahead and preview it. There you go. We got everything in the correct positions that we want, and all is well in the world. Okay, so that's really how you can add different facial components to your character. Again, there's unlimited facial components. You can add as many as you want, and you can pair them. If you have two of them that need to be paired, you want your face to be symmetrical. Generally, you always want your face to be symmetrical for cartoon characters, unless you're like Quasimodo or something. But that's how you can pair different facial components, and add facial components and use the mesh triangulation, masking, and layering, and all that fun stuff. All right, so thanks so much for watching, everyone. Hopefully you learned a lot in this tutorial. And make sure you check out our forums, as always, at forum.reallusion.com. And I hope to see you in the next video.